the latest brand new QNAP NAS hardware product line. So without further ado, let's switch to the PowerPoint presentation title. Okay. So today's topic is about the TS-x73A series. So this 73A series has 3 different models: 4-bay, 6-bay, and 8-bay choices. So we have put in a brand new processor for this product line. This is an AMD Ryzen V1500B, quad-core and 8 threads, 2.2 GHz. We have also added the 2.5 gigabit connection to this product line. Okay, and then also we upgraded the M.2 from SATA to NVMe, and then same great feature with a dual PCIe slots, so you can install many different QNAP cards to expand the capability. So let's briefly talk about the history about this processor. Okay, so from the pictures here, you can see the various different classes of AMD embedded processors. So the entry level will be the AMD G series. The G series was used in our 63 series NAS. So we have both the desktop and the rack mount 63 series. And then the R series was used in the 73 series, 73 desktop and the 73U, the rack mount version. So last year, in June, we launched the industry first AMD Ryzen V1500B series rack mount NAS, the 73AU series, 8-bay, 12-bay, and 16-bay models. Later on that year, we also launched the 9-bay desktop version, that is TS-x73AX, which support 5 of the 3.5-inch hard drives and then plus 4 of the 2.5-inch SSD bays. And 2 of the 4 2.5-inch bays can support not just SATA, but also very high-speed U.2 NVMe SSDs. So this month, we are introducing the new 73A series that's going to replace the existing 73 desktop version. So the same, you'll see that it's gonna have a 4-bay, 6-bay, and 8-bay variations. Okay, and last year in Q4, we also launched the all-flash NAS. It is a TS-x7490FU, 24-bay 2U U.2 NVMe all-flash NAS. It is based on AMD's very powerful server processor called EPYC 7000 series. This is based on the AMD ROM architecture and very powerful with 8-core and 16-core processors. And then all the PCIe slot versions are PCIe Gen 4, so you can install very fast PCIe Gen 4 cards in the future to bring out more potential out of this all-flash NAS. Okay, so this is an overview of the AMD embedded processors that's being used in various QNAP NAS models. So what's the difference between the new 73A and the current generation 73? Okay, first of all is the operating system. So the default will be shipped with QTS, but during the first time installation, you have the option to choose QTS Hero, which is based on ZFS and has many enterprise graded features such as deduplication, compaction, better snapshot, and then also can prolong better for SSD life. Okay, and the hardware differences including, first one is the CPU upgrade. So you have a transition from the AMD R series to the V series. Okay, V series. And then M.2 SSD, the 73 has a M.2 SATA SSD slots, 2 of them. For the 73A has a M.2 NVMe SSD slots. So since M.2 SSD are becoming more common, the NVMe version, so we follow a trend and then give you this capability. The previous gigabit network connection has been upgraded to the 2.5 gigabit network. Okay, so 73A can right away support a 2.5 gigabit connection. USB has also been upgraded to 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabit per second. That means you can install a USB SSD or USB enclosure from QNAP that can give you much faster, I think twice faster the backup speed over the USB 3.2 Gen 1, 5 gigabit per second. So these are the upgrades for the 73A series mainly. Okay, so let's take a look at these hardware features one by one. So the CPU is based on the long-term supported Zen architecture AMD V1000 series, the V1500B quad-core 8 threads, 2.2 GHz. So now the CPU has 8 threads compared to 4 threads on the 73 series, which means when you are running virtual machines or containers, you have a more CPU power for your various virtual machines. And you can see also that because this is an embedded processor, it's a SoC, so the power consumption is very low, only up to maximum 25 watts. So it is very suitable for running this 73A series 24 hours a day for your file services and application services. And let's take a look at the front view of the 4-bay version. On the top left, there are several LED indicators for system status, network connection, hard drive status, and the M.2 SSD status. And then you have 4 individual drive trays and the base that you can install either 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives. We also have included the keys for you to lock the tray just in case somebody accidentally removed the tray. Now on the bottom right, there's a power button and then also a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port along with a copy button, which means in QTS you can set up different backup policy when you connect a USB drive to that. Okay. The 8-bay version looks very basically the same. The only difference is just the number of available bays. So 67.3A has 6 of the hard drive bays, and the A73A has 8 hard drive bays. Okay. How can you install the disks? For 3.5-inch hard drives, it is very simple. You don't even need a screwdriver. Simply just remove the side panels and then put in the hard drives and then put the panels back to secure the disks. Then you're done. Just one thing to remind you is that if you plan to transport the NAS with hard drives installed, be sure to use our supplied screws to secure those hard drives. Otherwise, the vibration may damage the connector. Okay. Another recommendation is that if your hard drive is vibrating a lot, then also be sure to use the screws because some drives do vibrate more. For 2.5-inch SSDs and hard drives, you have to remove one of the side panels and then use the provided screws to install the 2.5-inch drives. Okay, so that's about how you can install the 3.5-inch and the 2.5-inch drives. For the rear view of the 4-bay model, on the top you can see there are 2 of the PCIe Gen 3x4 half height PCIe slots. For that, you can install many different cards from QNAP, network card, M.2 SSD cards, Fibre Channel, SATA, and other expansion cards. And For the bottom left, there are dual 2.5 GbE LAN ports that can support multiple speeds, 2.5 gig, 1 gig, and 100 megabit. It is a RJ45 connector. Now there are 3 USB ports. 2 of them are USB Type A, and the speed can be up to 10 gigabit per second, USB 3.2 Gen 2. We have also put in another Type C port that is USB 3.2 Gen 1, 5 gigabit per second, because we realize that more and more external devices and external enclosure that come with a default with a USB Type C connection. So by having a USB Type C port there, it's easily for you to connect it. You don't need a different another converter to connect to take advantage of this port. Okay. All the models come with a 250 watts power supply, so it's very sufficient for all the different drives and the system. Here also you can see one enhancement over the previous generation is that besides the system fan, which is used to cool the hard drives, we have added the CPU side fan. You can see there's a 6 cm CPU side fan plus a 12 cm the hard drive side fan to make sure the system stays always cool. Okay. Now there's also a Kensington security slot for you to secure the NAS in your desktop place. Okay. 6-bay, 8-bay are very similar to the previous 4-bay version. The only difference, there are 2 differences. First one is the PCIe slots. You can see that because the 4-bay is a more compact size, so the 4-bay can only support the half height PCIe cards. But for the 6-bay and 8-bay, you can install the full version, full height of the PCIe cards, full size. Okay, so it opens up more opportunities. For example, you can install more different types of graphics card or any other cards available. Okay, and the fan is also different. For the 6-bay version, comes with a dual 9 cm disk drive side fan, whereas the 8-bay version comes with a dual 12 cm fan. Okay, for the 8 hard drives. So those 2 are the only difference between the 4-bay and the 6-bay and 8-bay. Okay. How about the M.2 SSDs? M.2 SSDs are great for enhancing the system performance. So in the 73A series, we also make it easy to upgrade the SSDs. To install SSDs is very easy by simply remove the top cover, and then you can install the M.2 SSD into the motherboard. And we even made it toolless installation so that you can simply click and secure the SSDs. You don't need another screwdriver or screw to do that. 2 of the M.2 SSD slots spec are M.2 2280 PCIe Gen 3x1, so they are compatible with many different PCIe SSDs, the M.2 version in the market. Be sure to check out compatibility list. So with this M.2 SSD, you can use it for either SSD cache or Qtier auto tiering for your performance enhancement. So for the random and data access speed, you can set up SSD cache. However, the entire SSD capacity will be reserved for the SSD cache. Also, depends on the available caching volume capacity depends on the amount of memory installed. You can also choose to use Qtier. Now QTS supports Qtier auto tiering, but QTS Hero does not. So if you are using the default QTS, you can also check out the Qtier technology, which can automatically balances the performance for you. Plus, you can use the available capacity storage space of those SSDs. Okay, so this is how Qtier engine works. Basically, our system can very smartly monitor the frequently used data and the less frequently used data, and then put the hot data into the high-speed M.2 SSD tier, or even the 2.5-inch SATA SSD tier, and then move the less frequently accessed data into the hard drive for storage. Okay, so this is how the Qtier engine works in the QTS. Another enhancement we did to the 73A series is the system cooling. As I mentioned earlier, we have added the CPU side cooling with a 6cm CPU side fan. So our system has also been in our QTS and QTS Hero, we also separate those into two different zones, so that our software can actively monitor the temperatures and then adjust the fan speed. And so you can see that in the library, the noise level may be at 40 decibels. But with our TS-x73A, only 20.3 decibels, which is much lower than original 673 with 23 decibels. Okay, so this is the new system, the new fan design, thermal design, not only makes the NAS a bit quieter, but also helps bring up the heat outside much more efficiently. For the system memory support, by default, we are already shipping with a very big 8GB memory in this class. So you have one of the 8GB module pre-installed. But the system, the motherboard gives you two DDR4 SODIMM memory slots, so you can upgrade it to a maximum 64GB of memory. So it's two of the 32GB with dual channel support. You can also choose to install optional ECC memory. Okay, so QNAP will offer various memory sizes, 8GB, 16GB, and 32GB in non-ECC and non-ECC options for you to choose. So easily upgrade the memory, and also good for the multi-user or multiple app usage. Just one thing to note is that be sure not to mix ECC and non-ECC memory together. Okay, be sure you use the same type of memory always. The built-in 2.5 GbE LAN ports gives you instant 2.5 times the speed over the traditional 1 gigabit LAN port. Another benefit is that you can use the same LAN cable to achieve the 2.5 gig speed. You don't need to spend a large amount of money to rewire your house or your building. Simply you can reuse the cables and then achieve the 2.5 gig speed. Some people also asked me last year, hey, Jason, can the 2.5 gig support 1 gig? Yes, because 2.5 gig was not popular yet early last year. So we got some customer questions about that. But as you see, more and more 2.5 gig equipped devices are now in the market, such as motherboards, the Wi-Fi 6 access points and routers, switches, and even the PCIe and USB LAN cards. They have a 2.5 gig speed. So 2.5 gig speed are actually coming much faster than you can imagine. Okay, and 2.5 gig also is backward compatible with 1 gig. Okay, so by buying this 73A NAS, you will be future proof in the network speed. If you want the faster speed, you can also install a faster network card into one of the PCIe slots. So QNAP actually offers many different types of expansion cards in PCIe format, such as the QXG for the network with a 10 gig, 5 gig, 2.5 gig, single port and dual port available. The QN2 M.2 SSD cards to add your performance. The QXP different expansion cards for SAS, SATA, USB, even Wi-Fi 6 cards. And also the QWAC2600 is a Wi-Fi 5 AP card that can provide wireless 802.11ac access point capability to the NAS, so that you can set up all the different IoT devices and surveillance cameras. They can only connect to the NAS and then store the data privately with more security. Let's take a look at the QM2 cards. So QNAP provides also many different models QM2 cards that allows you to install to add more M.2 SSDs into the NAS. So because the 73A only has 2 of the M.2 NVMe SSD slots, so you can only make a RAID 0, RAID 1, right? And somebody may think it may not be so safe. So another idea is to purchase and install a QM2 card, so that the M.2 SSDs on the QM2 cards can be grouped together with the M.2 SSD on the motherboard of the 73A to make a RAID 5. That way you get the protection and also the speed. Okay. Another advantage of the QM2 card is that we have some variations of the combo cards, which only takes up to 1 PCIe slot, and then you get both network capability and also the M.2 SSD acceleration. Okay. So all our QM2 cards also has the very good high quality heatsink and also fan, active fan, so that you can put it in any of the enclosures, whether it's QNAP NAS or your own computers or a server. Okay, it can help cool down the M.2 SSDs, because we all know that M.2 SSD can get really hot if they are at the best optimal performance. And if it gets too hot, SSDs will have a thermal throttling, which can lower the performance drastically, or the life can be damaged in the long run. Okay. We also provide various brackets so that you can install in any type of enclosures, whether it's NAS or your own PC server. So here are some recommended QM2 cards for the 73A series. So you can see there are different combo version with either 10 gig or the new 2.5 gig options. And then in the middle, there are pure M.2 SSD only with 2 of them available. So 2 SSD slots capability. Now the last one is about the 4 SSD version. So with this quad SSD QM2 cards, you can instantly add 4 SSDs into the 73A NAS. Okay, so those are different SSD QM2 cards versions available for the 73A series. Now, if you want to put the NAS in the multi-user environment, then we also recommend you to consider getting a NAS to get the best performance. So if you can only have a little bit of a budget, then consider these unmanaged switches. So you can add multiple user concurrent access. And also for your server or PC, you can also check out the QNAP 5G and 2.5G adapters to add more multi-gig capability to your client devices, so that your client, the switch, and the NAS all have the 2.5G speed. Now, if you want to have a better control of your network in the larger corporation environment, then be sure to check out these affordable QNAP managed switches. Okay, so with these various devices and different number of ports, you can be sure that all your servers with different connector types can be linked together with these powerful managed switches. Again, the table here shows you what kind of LAN cables can support the different speed. So for K5 can actually support up to 5 gig. K6 can support a 10 gig. Okay, so when you are looking at the cable, be sure to follow the speed requirement of your environment. Okay. So when you install a 10 gig card into the NAS, you can get about 800 megabyte per second on this NAS. So for the large file transfer, such if you are working with, for example, video editing, large media, then be sure to check out the 10 gigabit card on the 73A series. Now, if you are also in the media and entertainment industry, sometimes you may be working with a Fibre Channel. So the 73A will also support a 16 gig Fibre Channel support, which can also be backward compatible with 8 gig and the 4 gig Fibre Channel SAN. So to support it is very simple. Simply install this QXP 16G2FC card into the NAS, and then use the iSCSI and Fibre Channel application in our QTS or QTS Hero. Then you can connect the NAS to your FC SAN for the storage or data backup. We also provide additional transceivers if you want to buy extra or replace the original one. Now, if your NAS is located in an area that's hard reached by a LAN cable, then you can also consider the wireless connection. So here you can see that QNAP has launched last year the Wi-Fi 6 card called QXP-W6-AX200, also a very affordable price. Simply install it into a NAS, plug and play. Then our software operating system can recognize it, and you can even select a wireless network to join the NAS into, and then get the data transfer. So it's compatible with either Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 5 wireless networks. Either one is okay. Okay, so that's about a little bit about hardware introduction. Let's do a little bit of demo of the 73A series. Okay, let's switch to the demo, the desktop. Okay, so here I have prepared A73A here for the live demo. So let's check out the configuration first. Here I have installed 2.5 inch SSDs, 8 of them here to make a RAID 5. Okay, so you will see that all the disks are installed with the RAID 5. And then the network, I have installed a network card here besides the 2.5 gig LAN ports. Let's take a look at the interface. So besides the 2.5 gigabit ports, I have installed a dual port 10 gigabit card. So you can see that 10 GbE in the port 3 and 4. So let's do a performance test with 10 gig. So I'm gonna test the read and the write. Write first and the read. Let's try it. Okay, let it warm up a little bit. Okay, you can see that the write performance is about 800 some megabyte per second. Okay, 800 megabyte per second. And then let's try the read performance. Again, like countdown to begin. Should start now. Okay. Read performance, it will. Let's try again. Let me close it down. Right. Remove. Okay. Okay. So previously it was a write performance, and then let's try the read performance. So read performance, it will begin at about 600 megabyte per second. Later on, over time, it will go to the higher performance, about 750 or 800 megabyte per second. All right. So that's the performance test of this NAS. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. So let's take a look at what kind of software features you can use to enhance your productivity. Let's talk about the file sharing first. File sharing is made very simple with QNAP NAS. So basically, we offer a web-based file station and also application mobile apps called QFile for you to connect transfer and share the data on the NAS. So you can even connect to a remote NAS or a remote cloud storage and mount them as an access point, and then you can get the data, the files from those remote locations. Now, if you are talking about collaboration, our NAS with File Station can support the Office Online and the Google Docs, so that you can use those applications to open the files, the documents on the NAS, and then save your edits back, so that the NAS can be a centralized file sharing and file editing place. And multiple users can also be supported for the concurrent file editing, okay, with this feature. QSync is a great way to back up and synchronize the data between your computers and the NAS. So QSync is available for Windows and Mac OS. And also we have it available on the mobile app for you to view the data on the NAS. With QSync, you can use it to centralize, synchronize, and share data among your co-workers, okay, or your friends and family. With the latest QSync 5.0, we have also introduced the space-saving mode, which is actually a paid feature in Dropbox. Okay, so basically, the software allows you to see the file list on the NAS, but it will not download all the files to your computer, so that your computer has enough space to store your other data. Because we all know that on your laptop, maybe the common storage capacity may be only 2.5 gigabyte. Especially now, more and more laptops come with SSDs only, not traditional 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte hard drives. Okay, for the performance reason. To back up the data on the NAS, there is a very good tool called HBS. Hybrid Backup Sync. So in HBS, you can configure the data backup from NAS to a remote NAS, or from the NAS to an external device, or to a cloud storage provider. It can also support a Qtier to reduce your data before backup, so that your bandwidth can be saved. And when you compress the data into a QDFF file, then you can store it into a USB thumb drive, and then take it to your remote office, and then use our Qtier extract tool in your Windows or Mac or Linux, Ubuntu, to extract the data and then get all the original files. So it's a good way to carry your original data in a small package. Okay. Now, we also provide the hybrid mount to give you the maximum flexibility to utilize your cloud storage spaces. We have a network drive mount and the file cloud gateway. Two different use cases. Network drive mount is mainly for File Station to mount the cloud storage, so that the disadvantage is that many apps cannot be used with that, okay, only for File Station. But with our very intuitive File Cloud Gateway, you can connect to a remote cloud and then use the space, and then let the space be used for other applications. And also you can provide different access protocols such as SMB, NFS, AP for your clients. Okay. For this cloud gateway, we give you 2 free lifetime connections. So if you are working with many different accounts or many different cloud storage providers, you can also purchase additional licenses to add more connections. So with the cloud gateway, actually, we also cache the files so that the data access can be much faster. Okay. Another way is due to the COVID-19, now more and more people are working from home or from a remote area. So traditionally, when this happens, then many clients, each client will access the headquarters NAS with their own separate VPN connections. This way, there are several issues. One is bandwidth usage. You can see that on the left picture, all of the clients are using their separate bandwidth, which can really test the bandwidth in the headquarters. Okay. Secondly, is that the same file will be accessed 3 times repeatedly if it's the same file. But if you use a hybrid mount, then the hybrid mount can cache the existing or the used files and then provide it to the same user who requested it. Can also only need one VPN connection to the headquarters NAS, and so your available bandwidth can be freed for other applications. This is one usage sample of the hybrid mount. Now, if you are working with virtual machines in VMware and Hyper-V, then QNAP also provide Hyper Data Protector, which is a great and free tool to back up those virtual machines, unlimited and free, license free. So it's an active backup solution so that it can monitor activity and then back up the VMs, and also you can recover the VM at any time. If you are one of the IT supervisor who works using the Google Workspace and the Microsoft 365 for your organization, and one thing you want to think about is to back up all the user accounts data, okay, include email, files, contacts, calendar. So our BugSafe is born to help you to easily back up those data and for restore, so that you don't have to keep worrying about, okay, the capacity is getting full, I need to spend more money to buy the additional capacity. Okay, simply you can keep your important data and then back up to the NAS, and then so free up your cloud storage for new data. QmailAgent is another way if you don't work with those enterprise solutions. So QmailAgent, you can use it. It's like a web-based mail client, so that you can centralize, manage, and then back up all your different mailboxes. Okay, we also include a mobile app for you to check, review all the mails. You can also restore the emails very easily. Since the NAS has a two PCIe slots, right? So you can actually install a graphics card to add HDMI output and a graphical enhancement for NAS and also for the virtual machines. So you can check out those compatible graphics card on the website in our compatibility list. But basically, those entry-level NVIDIA GTX 1650, 1050, or 1030 will be supported. So not only can you add HDMI output so that you can output those virtual machines as a VM, or you can also use the NAS for transcoding, GPU acceleration, or you can pass through those the GPU card to one of the virtual machines for some enhancement. So virtual machines in the virtual station gives you a very flexible way to run a virtual machine and back up the data very easily. Okay, Windows, Linux, and Android, Unix. Container station is a lightweight virtualized technology, so that in the marketplace, such as a Docker Hub, you can find actually thousands of ready-made by the community the applications for you to run on the NAS and then to provide many different lightweight services. Okay. Now, Ubuntu Linux Station is another very good feature from QNAP, that we have an official cooperation with Ubuntu, so that you can actually run the QTS operating system and also Ubuntu in parallel concurrently. Okay. So file service and Ubuntu, like a small desktop in one machine. We support the long-term supported versions, Ubuntu 16.04, 18.04, and 20.04. There's also a software center for you to easily download the various applications. How can you use the Ubuntu first way is to use a web browser. So it's like a remote viewer. You use a web browser on your computer, connect to the NAS IP to access the Ubuntu to run some software. Second way is you install a PCIe graphics card and connect a USB keyboard and mouse and use it just like a small Ubuntu Linux PC. With that, you can watch YouTube, go online, surf the internet, or even use any communication such as Skype software, or even do some office applications. Okay. To manage the data, QNAP provides QSearch and QFiling. So QSearch is think of just like a QNAP version of Google search. So we provide the various tools and interfaces for you to easily locate your data stored on the NAS. And QFiling is another way for you to systematically organize your data based on your specified rules. So because NAS is a centralized place, so if you want to neatly organize your data, then QSearch and QFiling would be a great combination. Now, if something happens with a NAS, whether it's a hard drive failure, SSD failure, backup job failure, okay, then there's a great notification center that you can set up in different ways to notify you, whether it's email, SMS, text messages, or even a push notification on your mobile app. And you can also specify the different alert label, warning only or error messages, and then also comes with multiple language support, so you know what's going on with your NAS. Speaking of the NAS status, QNAP has also recently launched the QLog Center, helps you to actively notify the NAS, not just system logs, but also the connections. So you can see that we have a very easy to understand different graphical charts for you to know the various logs from various applications. You can sort them by either applications or by the dates, by usage. And then you can also instantly check the connected users, and then also their connected protocols to check if that's the right user using your NAS. Now, the log management is also very flexible and powerful. So the QLog Center can be the central way for you to store all the logs from other QNAP NAS. Or you can also send the NAS log to your standard syslog server for further analysis and management. Okay. You can also use it with a notification to only send specific group of logs to notify you if something happens. Now, another usage is surveillance. So IP cameras have become very affordable nowadays. So many users will want to use the NAS to store their surveillance footage with their IP cameras. So our brand new QVR Elite is a subscription based, starting at only US $1.99 per month. So you can actually customize and choose your available channels based on your criteria, your environment. And we have also make the performance much better so that it doesn't use up lots of CPU power and the memory. And then there's also a great QVR Pro client that you can use it to do a live playback on the locally with the HDMI output. And then the recorded file can also be an MP4 so that it can be playback in any of the standard player, not just the QNAP software. There are several multimedia features also available on the 73A series, so it is a good platform to share the multimedia and share your projects. For example, if you are a photographer, then with our QMagic, actually through the artificial intelligence analysis, we can analyze your photos up to at least more than 400 objects and events, so that you can quickly sort and find your desired group of photos, people, objects. For the video sharing, there are Plex media server available for streaming to your mobile devices and smart TVs. And then there's also Qtier media side player for the HEVC video transcoding, okay, with by the CPU power. And then if you are in a multi-room environment, you can use our Cinema 2.8 to stream various files to different locations in the same network with either AirPlay, DLNA, those kind of protocols for streaming. So by default, the NAS ships with QTS, but like you see here, you can use QTS Hero here to do a switch. Okay, so QTS Hero is a ZFS-based advanced NAS system that allows you to have a better security and more SSD life, better SSD life for the better endurance. Here's how it looks like. So for the how can it extend the SSD endurance is because for everything that's finally in the end written to the NAS, we will go through the series of compression and the compaction and deduplication, so that the actual data written to the SSD will not be so much. Because if you check out the SSD spec by the SSD vendors, you will see a TBW, that's terabytes written. So the vendors use that to check the SSD warranty, okay, and then to distinguish the SSD levels. So by using the QTS Hero, it can actually prolong your SSD life. And just one thing to remind you, if you want you to use a deduplication, the minimum memory will be 16 GB. So be sure to upgrade the memory from 8 GB to a minimum 16 GB to take advantage of these great features. And also the QTS Hero can also prevent the silent data corruption and also data corruption self-healing. So if you are in a business organization that really cares about the data, then be sure to check out the QTS Hero, and also you can also upgrade to a ECC memory for the double protection. To back up the NAS data, there are several ways. The first is the file level HBS3 hybrid backup sync, so with a versioning support. And for the block-based level, there's a snapshot and a snapshot replica for the scheduled backup. And then in March, we are going to launch the latest H4.5.2 QTS Hero OS, which can the SnapSync, which provides a block level real-time data replication from one NAS to another. So when SnapSync is out, then it is a truly very real-time backup solution. Like when you use it with third-party backup software such as Vim Backup or VMware Backup, then it can really make like a zero downtime setup. Okay, if you use a real-time snapshot in SnapSync with those third-party backup, they can alternately switch from one NAS to another. Okay, so RPO can be greatly reduced to almost zero with this real-time SnapSync. Okay, so that's about the enterprise NAS introduction. Now, if someday you run out of space on the NAS, how can you expand the storage? QNAP offers different storage enclosures. First one is a hardware ready solution. It's a USB interface, the 2-bay and 4-bay. Speed will be USB 3.2 Gen 1 or Gen 2, and with a Type-C support, but we include a C2A cable so that you can support many devices. But you can also purchase C2C cable if you want to connect to the Type-C on the 73A. Then there's a USB JBOD. It is 8-bay. JBOD allows us to make a bigger chassis, such as 8-bay. So you can connect this D800C to the NAS USB port and then to expand the capacity. For the high-speed data storage, we have also created this very high cost performance value. So this is we call it TL or SATA JBOD. With that, we include the QNAP SATA HBA in the package, So you simply install the SATA HBA to the NAS, and then connect, use the supply cable to connect between the NAS and the SATA JBOD. Then you have a much greater performance over the USB interface. Okay, for example, the 4-bay version can provide up to 26 gigabit bandwidth. Okay, because for this SATA JBOD, we designed it so that one hard drive can have one single SATA 6 gigabit connection, so that you can ensure that each SATA interface has the maximum performance available. So here's the package included. 4-bay include the card and one cable, because one cable can support 4 drives. 8-bay we include one card and 2 cables. For the 16-bay we include one card and 4 cables. Okay, so maximum 64 gigabit can be supported on the TL-D800S. Okay, so to make a conclusion and comparison against the other vendors, if you look at these all the AMD Ryzen based NAS with a 6-bay and 8-bay, 6-bay and 8-bay comparison, first part is the gigabit versus the 2.5 gigabit. Okay, with the 673A and the A73A, we give you 2 of the 2.5 gigabit LAN ports, so instantly you don't need to buy additional accessory to get it. So very good performance right away. And the memory by default is much bigger, 8 GB compared to 4 GB, and you can also upgrade it to a maximum 64 GB or ECC memory. Now the USB backup will also be much faster, up to 3.2 Gen 2 compared to USB Gen 1. So twice the speed, very good if you are backing up a large amount of data. Okay. 2 PCI slots, the most important thing. 2 PCI are compared to 1 PCI slot. So if your NAS only has 1 PCI slot, you have to think about, you have to fight for if you want to install a network card or a SSD card or a different card, because only 1 slot. But with 2 PCI slots, you have it opens up much more opportunities for various cards available. Now, the last part is expansion. The 73A can support the various QNAP expansion units, so either up to 16-bay models available. So the capacity will be much bigger for a single NAS. Okay. So thank you for joining our session today. So this is a brief overview of the 73A series. So you can see that 4-bay, 6-bay, and 8-bay, they will be available in coming soon in your region this year. And then it's also QTS and the QTS Hero operating systems are available for free, available on these models. And also brand new CPU AMD Ryzen V1500B quad-core 8-threads 2.2 GHz with much more enhanced features compared to a previous generation, such as 2.5 gig M.2 NVMe SSD, and then PCIe slots, same 2 PCIe slots for greater flexibility. Okay, so thank you for joining us, and then we'll see you next time. Bye bye.